Okay, today I will explain how to connect our Snowflake Filter Wheel to your camera and the telescope side. When you are installing the filters, if you want to install an unmounted filter or a dark filter at filter slot 8, please remember to first connect your camera to the filter wheel. Otherwise, once you have installed the filter at slot 8, you will no longer be able to connect the camera to your filter wheel. The slot 8 of our filter wheel uses an irregular design. It expands outward. This allows the slot to cover all the screw holes underneath. So when you connect it to your camera, unlike traditional designs, you do not need to remove the filter wheel disc first, then connect the camera, and then reinstall the filter wheel disc. This makes the installation process much simpler. Snowflake Filter Wheel does not require disassembling the filter wheel disc, and disassembling the filter wheel disc is also prohibited. We can simply rotate the filter wheel by hand to this position and then connect to your camera. Our filter wheel also provides many mounting holes. For example, the two outermost holes are designed for ZWO cameras, and the two inner holes are designed for the QHY-CCD and TopTech cameras, and these two holes are for Player 1 cameras. In addition, it is worth mentioning that we have also designed a groove on the filter wheel for QHY-CCD cameras. This ensures that connecting to a QHY-CCD camera does not increase the total back focus. The depth of this groove is perfectly matched. Now I use the DW camera as an example. We adjust the position of the filter wheel by hand, and then we can directly tighten the screws to connect the camera. It is very convenient. There is no need to remove the filter wheel disc. With some traditional designs, if you need to remove the filter wheel disc, it not only becomes more complicated, but also increases the risk. After tightening these two screws, we gently rotate it to the left, and then tighten the other two screws. With that, the installation is complete and it's very fast, right? Additionally, there's one more important thing. The two outer DWO mounting holes use countersunk screws, so the standard screws provided with the cameras are usually fine. However, the middle mounting holes are not countersunk. Due to our ultra-low profile design, when using these screw holes, for example, when mounting a QHY-CCD camera, we recommend using the flat head screws included in our filter wheel package. These screws have a thinner screw head profile. If you use unsuitable screws, such as countersunk screws, they may protrude slightly. If they protrude, because our filter wheel has an ultra-low profile design, there is the risk that the screw may interfere with the rotating filter disc. So please be very careful to this. Try to use flat head screws and avoid excessive protrusion. You may also notice that our package includes a foam gasket. What is this used for? It is placed between the filter wheel and the camera. It will prevent light come in between the camera and the filter wheel. Some cameras may experience light leakage if directly mounted by screws, and this will help to prevent that. You can choose to install it or not based on your needs. Next, I will explain how to connect the filter wheel to the telescope side. We first put the cover plate back on. I will just tighten a few screws for demonstration process. You can see that we also provide a lot of mounting holes here. These holes are M3 and these holes are M2.5 designed for ZWO OAGs, so it is compatible with most OAGs available on the market. So I will use a TopTech OAG as an example. You can see that these holes align perfectly, and you simply use screws to secure it in place. This step is no different from standard procedures, so I will just skip it. However, there's one very important point I must emphasize. We have also clearly marked this as a warning on our filter wheel. Because of the ultra-low profile structure of our filter wheel, the maximum allowed insertion depth for the screws, including threaded connections, is 3 mm, or at most 4 mm. The screws must not be too long. If they are too long, what happens? They will insert too inward and may press against the filters. In mild cases, the filter wheel may be jammed and stop rotating. In worst cases, if they press directly onto your filters may crack. This is a common issue with most filter wheels, but because our filter wheel is thinner, the margin for error is smaller. So when using screws, please carefully calculate the required length. We provide screws of various lengths in the package for your convenience. Please be especially careful during the installation. Even if you are not using the screws for connection, like if you directly thread your filter wheel to your telescope using the M54 or M42 connection, you must be particularly careful because the adapter threads are typically 4 or 5 mm long. It will definitely cause interference. That is why we also include several back focus spacers in the package. These spacers were originally designed to bring the filter wheel up to the standard 20 mm thickness of typical filter wheels. But when using a threaded connection, these spacers also help to reduce the effective thread insertion depth. Place the spacer here and then tighten the thread. This prevents intrusion into the filter wheel.